Hello everybody, I'm Henry. Now I'm going to show you how to make a paste for mounting or for preparing a paper with pouring ink technique. And we need to mount the painting on a board to keep it flat when we pour the ink. I got wheat starch. Wheat starch has no gluten in it. You can get from Asian grocery stores or Amazon. And I got almond. Almond served as a size to seal the absorbency. So I put a little almond, maybe a little more than what I use as a preservative normally. And this will help to seal the absorbency. So just like normally we'll use the gelatin. Okay, we'll use gelatin with pigments later, but not on the paper because we got the starch. We got the starch here. So I just put maybe 1 to 2 grams, just a pinch of it still, because I want it semi-sized anyway. The paste will serve that already. And I use boiling water. I just boiled it. So I'm going to just pour it. You stir it with boiling water. You cook it. Hope it's still hot enough. And the starch will turn transparent. Okay, I just open this a bit. And it reaches a consistency about like a milk. You can see that with a little bit thickness. That's about it, I think. And if not cooked enough, you can boil it. This utensil could be cooked, I think. Just as long as you've got thickness, it doesn't matter if it's fully cooked. It's not edible, of course. So it just turns the liquid into a paste. So that's about it. Next, I will show you how to mount it. It's pretty much like how you mount painting. I will mount it on a drawing board in this case for tomorrow's class. Okay, next we're going to mount this antique color. It's a coffee colored antique shrine rice paper. Someone asked us about this, if it's sized or unsized. This is unsized and it's single weight. And we can make it into a semi-sized or even sized paper with mounting and make it thicker. So I'm using Wenzhou rice paper. Never mind, I just maybe read that out later. So this is about twice of this, actually. Yeah, usually it takes twice. So this extra margin will keep it flat. And you may ask, how to make the paintings flat. This is how we do it. Normally we don't do this before painting, but for pouring ink technique, we want to keep it flat, to do it wet into wet. That's why we do this as preparation. And the smooth side is the side we paint on. You can feel it. So this is the paste I made. I use a pasting brush. You can get all these supplies from our online store, Blue Hair Arts, and you also can get this palm fiber brush for flattening that, and you need a cloth to clean the drawing board. So we just paste on the back side first. Make sure the board is clean. Sometimes you got, you know, I have another sketchboard with a pencil or granite, what they call this, this charcoal marks on that. So that's not good for this. I used for you know, other kind of stretching. Use the tape. It's fine. Not with this. So this is how we do this. And you cannot lift it, right? When it's wet. And to eliminate all the wrinkles, just apply a little extra paste, because this will illuminate, will make the painting float on the board. If it's not enough, or the paste is too thick, it's not going to move. See, I can easily flatten the paper by stretching the paper. You know, I brush the paste this way, so now I'm working this way to stretch it. There's no wrinkles. Okay, and I need to mount it, and then we flip it, right? So I roll this paper, smooth side are facing the back, I think. Just roll it like that, and then you hold with one hand and use this brush. It leaves enough margin for pasting. Just a little bit. That's why I give myself like 2 inches, just worry free of how much space I need extra. It's about 1 inch extra, but I just give myself more working space like this. I don't have to worry about that. Because this paper is quite thin, so it's a little bit wrinkled, it's okay. Like that. You can just make it flat by pressing. Usually we use a piece of blotting paper. I don't have newspaper. I just normally I use newspaper. I just use the advertising paper, because this is wet, so it's not going to stain the paper. Let's see. I'll use this larger one. Newsprint will work perfect. Just blotting a little bit. This also is a safeguard, so you can use pressure without worrying about ripping anything. Okay, you can see the extra moisture. Okay. There's a trick I forgot to. I could insert a little strip on the corner, on one corner, so it makes it easier to lift. But I just use a knife, you know, just lift one corner, and then you just keep diagonally lifting it like that. Okay, now I have to clean this surface. Let me set aside on the floor. Okay, now I clean this table because I don't want any paste on this. And just clean this margin, because this got extra paste, you want to clean that, because the paste are so thin, so it's not going to be a serious problem. You know, like you can easily peel it off because the paste is like milk. Okay. Now I put this back facing up. So this is the surface we're going to paint on when it's dry. And I will use a thicker paste ideally. So let me get thicker paste. This is the paste we use to process our mailing labels. So okay, we can use a small brush. You can use any brush. Okay, just this is much thicker. It's like yogurt, because this will you cannot use the same paste for this, because that will not hold the stretch. Okay, so now I just paste all these extra margins. Doesn't matter. It's outside the paper. And this is wet area. You don't have to use, but you could use if you don't have room. You have to use that space. It's okay. I just paste around all 4 margins like that. Okay. This is a wet mounting. It's exactly the same as the wet mounting. Okay. And then this brush can do this, you know, like knocking and this. So you need a stiff brush and a soft brush to do wet mounting. I haven't done this since we got the silicone paper for dry mounting. Silicone is a question I will explore, because when it's wet, when you repaint it, you might lose. Not as secure as the wet mounting, you know. And besides, silicone will not change the absorbency that much. Maybe block the absorbency, you know, the paper will not penetrate, but still absorbs paper. But this paste get into the paper, so it changes the absorbency from unsized to semi-sized, at least, I hope. Maybe with a little bit, still, you know, with some absorbency, that would be good to paint on, I think. I will cut the extra margin with dry a little bit. I hope this will hold and it will stretch perfectly. It will not get wrinkled when you re-wet it, because this is you know, wet, and when you re-wet it, it still stays this way. I hope, when we pour ink and the color tomorrow. Okay, see you in the class.